Hey, how y'all doing? I'm back here for a part 2 on how I make a pocket knife. Um, I failed to mention in the first video, I want to make sure to say this isn't a tutorial on how to make a pocket knife. This is just how I go about doing it. Um, and maybe you can learn something from it or what have you, and that's great, but I don't want to consider this a tutorial because I'm still very much a novice. So I would kind of want to be clear on that. Anyways, I'm finally back in my shop for just a smidge, and I'm going to start showing the next steps on how I go about doing this. And I want to show, I've got a new pattern here, another style of trapper compared to what I've been doing up there. This is more of a, I'm not sure if you'd consider this a slimline trapper, but it's a lot more slim than the style I've been doing up there. And this is a pattern that a knife maker emailed me, and I printed off. And pattern wise, just a tip, you can print one off if you ain't got a program or something to where you can resize it. You can print it off and take it to a copier and blow the image up or shrink it as needed to get the size you want, which is what I ended up doing with this one. And now, being I probably got 4 different variations from the copier there, I now have 4 different sizes of patterns I can use, which this one is about 3 5/8, which depending on how I ended up getting that traced out, it might end up being closer to 3 3/4. We'll see. And I've traced the blade and back spring here onto the metal. But anyways, it's going to be on. I'm going to be showing what I'm doing to these that I've already got cut out, which I'm going to throw that in the mix, but I won't necessarily show that. I'll just get it caught up. In the last video, I was explaining how I got really close to the scribe line on the spine, which is real pertinent to getting the nail nick position to the spine, at least how I do it. And I've scribed the line along the spine of where I'm going to want to be punching in the nail nick, at least on that plane. I am going to go ahead, being I am a novice, I still get ahead of myself. I am going to go ahead and grind to the bottom line up here to the kick, I think that is, because before heat treat I do want to file in the sharpen control or whatever you want to call that. So I'm going to be doing that next. So I'll see you at the grinder. Okay, I'm over here at my grinder. I'm just using like a Warren 36 grit belt, and like I said before, I'm just going to be going up to my scribe line on the cutting edge there. And if you notice, I ain't running on full speed at the moment because it's pretty frosty out this morning, and the grease is cold in the burns, and I don't want to, that's hard on them if you're running at full blast without warming it up a little. So that's why I'd be a little slow here to begin with. Anyway, let's see what happens. I just use an old file to take the burr off the bottom side there. But I did the same thing as I do on the spine. I just went right up to the scribe line, and if you notice, if it'll focus correctly, right there is where I got my sharpening tool marked out. Kind of see it. Anyways, I just went right up to that, and like I said before, I'm just leaving this here alone till after a heat treat. But there's that step. Okay, I got the bottoms of the blades ground into my scribe lines. Next thing I'm going to do is file in the sharpening tool or kick area. I'm not exactly sure what that's technically supposed to be called there on these. Anyways, and I do want to mention real quick, I forgot to earlier, that if you're looking for a pattern to print off, you can go to Chris Crawford Knives website, and he's got a link just on patterns, and they're free and you can print them off. He's got a lot of good patterns on there. Anyways, I just wanted to let you all know that, because I have had a couple questions on that. There we go. That's all there is to it for me. And well, you can see the scribe line right there, so that's all there is to that step. Okay, I'm here filing another notch. Now I thought I'd show real quick how I'm holding this triangle file that I'm using. It's just a cheap file. I've seen a lot of guys put like a golf ball on the end. That way they're not hurting their hand, because every now and then it'll catch, and if you hold it wrong, that'll dig into the palm of your hand and just hurt like the dickens. But anyways, how I hold it, since I've never put anything on the end like a genius, I have the end here on the meat of my hand, and I press it in tight with my middle finger. Okay, and then I take my thumb and I press it into my middle finger about at the joint there, so it kind of fits in. So by pushing down and squeezing, I can get a pretty good grip on it. But if it does catch, and it does happen every now and then, it'll just push back a little bit, and it's not digging into my hand. See there? Okay, and my index finger here, I'm just using that to put however much pressure I'm wanting to file with. Kind of like a guide, I guess you might say. But anyways, that's just a real quick tip. Okay, I'm getting things lined up, ready to hot punch in my nail necks. I just threw that rail track in front to warm up a smidge. That way it don't suck the heat right out of the blade whenever I use it. And I wanted to show real quick, this old chisel was my dad's, and I reground the end of it here. It has a real slight arc on it. Of course, it took me a couple of tries, so you can tell there's a couple of different bevel angles there. But the more flatter bevel is what I found out. For me, I like how it looks. And of course, I'll smack them in with this old ball peen hammer. This was my grandfather's. So both these tools have a special place for me. I really enjoy using them. And I wanted to come back to this paper pattern really quick. Once I get the blade and back spring, of course the liner and everything, get everything fit up and working properly, before I will pin it together, I will scribe around the blade, back spring, and the liner, or one of the liners, onto the liner material to make my patterns like I do up here for my other ones I have. So this paper pattern isn't going to be what I use from here on. I will get that transferred from the working parts onto liner material. Anyways, when things get heated up, I will be back and show you pomp punching in the nail neck. I have one ready to come out, so we will see what happens here. Okay, I got all the nail necks punched in. They turned out pretty fair, I reckon. I didn't get none of them horribly crooked or anything like that. I did want to point out, it's real easy to let the chisel bounce while you're punching them in, and it'll mark the side of the blade. But all that comes out with surface grinding and bevel grinding, of course. So far, I'm really pleased with how that turned out. Of course, after their surface grind, they'll start shaping up and looking a little better, because right after I get them punched in, they usually look a little rough, I guess you might say. But anyways, the next step will be me showing surface grinding the blade and the back springs together. That will be in the next video I do, because this old body of mine's saying I've done enough today. So this will be the end of this video. If you're enjoying the content, consider giving a thumbs up. And if you want to follow along, consider subscribing. Hope y'all's having a good day, and I'll talk to y'all later.